On today's episode of College Football Now by Chat Sports, we're going to take a look at the top 10 players remaining in the transfer portal since National Signing Day has come and passed. We'll get to that in just a second. My name is Harrison Graham, but I'm excited for the college football playoff. I know the last couple of weeks have been about the portal, recruiting, all this stuff. We're just a couple of weeks away from New Year's Day when we get to see Washington take on Texas and Alabama take on Michigan. I'm fired up for those games. If you are too, hit that like button. Like this video if you're fired up for the college football playoff games. Okay, let's get to the transfer portal, the top players in the transfer portal. The top player is Walter Nolen, the defensive tackle at Texas A&M, the former number one overall recruit. All signs point to Ole Miss to land him in the portal. They're throwing out crazy money with their NIL collective right now. Lane Kiffin's been able to bring in a lot of players via the transfer portal as of late. Nolan's got a ton of talent coming off a front four at Texas A&M, a huge recruit coming out of high school. That would certainly be a big get for the Lane train, and continue to kind of rub salt in the wound as he's made fun of Texas A&M over the years. Let's go to the quarterback position. Cam Ward out of Washington State still remains uncommitted here as he's trying to figure out what his next move is. He is reportedly considering the NFL as well, but I think he's going to stay in college because I think he'll get a good chunk of change to play quarterback somewhere. Now, the top two appear to be Miami or Florida State for Cam Ward. I'm not going to rule out Ohio State as of yet because I don't know who their quarterback's going to be. They lost Kyle McCord to Syracuse, so the Buckeyes got to figure it out. But as of now, there's no visit set for Ward at Ohio State. I believe he's visiting Florida State as we speak. Already visited Miami, who's considered the favorite right now, but I think FSU has a chance to kind of make a push here this weekend. So Cam Ward, my money, the best player in the transfer portal. Whoever lands him should feel good about their chances to win a bunch of games next season. Now, which team is going to land Cam Ward in the transfer portal if you had to guess? Let me know in the comments. I do think it'll be Miami or Florida State. I hope he goes to Florida State. I want to see him play for a high-stakes program that's got a chance to make the CFP next year. Not sure Miami and Mario Cristobal are capable of doing that. Okay, next up is Evan Stewart, who recently entered the portal in the last couple of days. There was a lot of Texas buzz for him coming out of high school. He ended up at A&M. But now Evan Stewart is back in the portal for the first, I should say back in the portal. He is in the portal after 2 years in College Station, over 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns in his 2 collegiate seasons. And he's going to bring a lot to the table. He's dynamic after the catch. He could be a punt returner if you want him to. Again, sounds like Ole Miss, another team in the mix here for him. We'll see if Texas gets involved as they heavily recruited him as well. Will Howard, the Kansas State quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in the portal as well. Obviously has started a lot of games at Kansas State, won a Big 12 championship a couple of years ago. This year, his numbers were down a bit. They played their freshman quarterback, Avery Johnson, a good amount, which is why he's in the portal, because Johnson is set to take over there in Manhattan. And it sounds like USC. Caleb Williams, although he has not officially announced his plans to go to the NFL draft, has opted out of the bowl game. Malachi Nelson is in the transfer portal. We're going to get to him in a second. So USC needs a quarterback. Howard has already visited with Lincoln Riley. I think that's going to ultimately be what ends up happening here. Number 5, Trevor Etienne, the younger brother of Travis Etienne, who's leaving the University of Florida. Since he's entered the portal, Georgia has been considered the heavy favorite. Now, there's been no official commitment there. He still remains in the portal at this exact point in time, but he's dynamic, really good runner, good with the ball in his hands via a receiving back as well. You can put him on special teams. So one of the top, if not the top overall skill player that entered the portal this year. So we'll see if the Bulldogs do end up ultimately landing him. They could use an explosive playmaker out of the backfield. Now, if you want to use some extra money in your pockets this holiday season, how about play some Prize Picks, best daily fantasy app out there, and they've got some daily Christmas specials over the next few days leading up to Christmas Day, so take advantage of that as well. Create an account today. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use our code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. Speaking of Christmas deal, you can get these juice yards here. So Matthew Stafford more than 299.5, Derek Carr more than 274.5. That's more than their actual projections from Prize Picks. But you can win up to, what is that, Rolly? 11 times your money instead of 3 times your money, which is a normal 2-player entry. So yeah, more risk because for them to both go for that high of yardage here on Thursday Night Football tonight isn't as likely, but if you do hit, you're cashing out. $10 entry to win $110 seems like a good deal to me. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code, like I mentioned, CLNS, to get a deposit match up to $100. Okay, 6 through 10 here. A lot of quarterbacks coming up. DJ Uiagalelei leaving Oregon State. Had a decent season. He's never been a very high completion percentage guy, but managed the offense well there in Corvallis. He's visited Florida State, or he's going to. I can't remember. I know he's got a visit lined up there. He's been linked to some other schools as well. He was linked to Louisville, but they ended up adding Tyler Shuck. So we'll see where DJU ends up landing, but experienced guy. He's played a lot of college football. I think he can be a bit of a steady presence for a program looking to add a veteran quarterback. Where will DJU play next season? If you had to guess, I think Cam Ward's got to decide first. If he goes to Miami, I think DJU ends at Florida State. If Cam Ward goes to Florida State, then could be back to the drawing board a little bit for Uiagalelei. So I think Florida State's going to give Cam Ward the chance to make that decision first. So we'll have to wait and see how the dominoes fall. Okay, A.J. Harris, the cornerback at Georgia. He was a highly touted recruit last year, a 4-star. I was surprised to see him enter the portal here, but he is in there, so we'll see where he ends up. KJ Jefferson, to get back to another quarterback, he's going to return to college football for a 6th season. Has played a ton of ball at Arkansas in his career, 44 career games played for the Razorbacks, but they're going to go in a new direction here. Dual threat guy, accurate passer. He can run. He's kind of a Cam Newton light, I would say. He's not as good as Cam Newton. Doesn't have as strong of an arm. Isn't as fast, but he's big. He's physical. He'll run you over. He's a leader. I'll be curious to see where he ends up because I think he brings a lot to the table. Malachi Nelson. This one is pretty interesting to me. So 5-star quarterback, huge recruit. The expectation at USC going into last year was, okay, Caleb Williams, reigning Heisman Trophy. He's going to have another huge year, hopefully lead USC to the college football playoff, then go to the draft. Well, obviously they had a bit of a disappointing year, but Caleb Williams is expected to be gone. So the thought was, oh, Nelson will just take over. Well, then USC was looking at Will Howard, who I still think they're going to land, and all these other guys. And now he's in the portal. So is he just not that good? Is he... did something happen between him and Lincoln Riley? I found that one pretty strange, but now he's in the portal, and you got to imagine several teams are going to be interested. A few early ones that I've seen, TCU, Houston, Tulane, which the list I've seen too is kind of bizarre as well. So I'm keeping an eye on this one when it comes to Malachi Nelson. Malik Murphy, the quarterback at Texas, who started a couple of games this year when Quinn Ewers missed some time with a shoulder injury. Huge recruit coming out. Had a leg injury his senior year, which I think has impacted his development just a little bit. But strong arm, in theory, should be a dual threat. These are 4 schools that have lined up visits for Murphy: Baylor, Duke, Oregon State, and South Carolina. So we'll see where he ends up at the end of the day. But if he can get fully healthy, because I still think the mobility is working its way back, he's got the tools to be a really good quarterback. All right, there you go. Top 10 players in the college football transfer portal. Shout out your favorite college football team in the comments below. We want to know what fan bases are represented here at Chat Sports. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. More college football coverage. We also cover the NFL, the NBA, and other big sports stories. So don't miss out. Subscribe. Turn on notifications for more videos here at Chat Sports.